Greetings, Fright fans. Dr. Gangrene here, physician of Fright, and tonight we're going to look at the top 5 Frankenstein films of all time. The Frankenstein films are based on the Gothic horror novel Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus by Mary Shelley. She wrote the book at the age of 18, and the first edition of the book was published in 1818. The book has gone on to become a source of inspiration for numerous works throughout the years in the fields of theater, television, books, comics, movies, and many, many more. So I got the idea for this video from Scary Monsters magazine. Issue 103 is coming up soon, and they're calling it the It's Alive issue, taking a look at both the Frankenstein doctors, Henry and Victor Frankenstein from the Universal and Hammer franchises, as well as the creations of those doctors through the years. So that got me thinking this would be the perfect time to do a top 5 Frankenstein film countdown. So we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Coming in at number 5 is Young Frankenstein. Now, many of you out there may be thinking that Young Frankenstein is just a silly comedy, and yeah, it does star Gene Wilder and it's directed by Mel Brooks. But let me tell you, it is a solid Frankenstein film. This movie fits very easily into the Universal line of films, and it is a really, really good story. The special effects are great. They use some of the original lab equipment from the Frankenstein films, and they took a lot of love and care producing this movie. It is easily the one that I've revisited the most over the last 10 years.
Don't miss Young Frankenstein, personally directed by Mel Blazing Saddles Brooks, in black and white. No offense.
Number 4, Bride of Frankenstein. Shot in 1935 by director James Whale, this is the follow-up to the original Universal Frankenstein film. It once again stars Colin Clive as Henry Frankenstein, who has created the monster, played by Boris Karloff. He teams up with another mad scientist, Dr. Pretorius, played by Ernest Thesiger. Together, the two create a mate for the monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, played by Elsa Lanchester. This is a worthy follow-up to the original Frankenstein film, and many critics even think it surpasses the original. I'm not one of those, however. It is true that the cinematography for this movie is impressive, with fluid motions and movements. But the quirky sense of humor, the silly homunculi, the screeching Una O'Connor, and the fact that the monster speaks something even Karloff himself admitted was a mistake, take this one down a few notches for me. Number 3, Son of Frankenstein. The third Frankenstein film in the franchise once again finds Boris Karloff playing the monster. But this time he's joined by Basil Rathbone as Dr. Frankenstein and the scheming lab assistant Igor, played by Bela Lugosi. This is an underrated classic and one that doesn't get mentioned anywhere near enough when people talk about the Frankenstein films. The Art Deco sets are amazing, and Karloff turns in another fantastic performance as the monster. But Igor, played by Bela Lugosi, steals the show. This is one of, if not the best character roles that Lugosi ever played. Number 2, Curse of Frankenstein. This is Hammer's first entry into their Frankenstein franchise, and it is epic. This one stars Peter Cushing as Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and his monster is played by none other than Christopher Lee. This is the first film the two men appeared in together, and they would go on to form a lifelong friendship. The violence and gore is amped up a bit in this film as compared to the Universal franchise. It's in glorious color and has an amazing score by James Bernard. And coming in at number 1 on the top 5 Frankenstein film list is, of course, Frankenstein from Universal Studios, 1931. Though not the first Frankenstein film of all time, Thomas Edison did that in 1910. This is easily the best. This one set the mold for all the Frankenstein films to come. The Mad Science Lab, the Raging Thunderstorm, the Arcing Electricity, the Hulking Monster, the Hunchback Lab Assistant. Everything you think about when you think Frankenstein comes directly from this movie. Colin Clive is excellent as Dr. Frankenstein, and Boris Karloff's performance as the monster is masterful. He brings a true sensitivity to the role despite having no dialogue. Jack Pierce's makeup for this one is iconic and has become a part of pop culture. That entire design, the flat top head, the bolts in the neck, scarred forehead, heavy brows, all of that came directly from Jack Pierce and the makeup design for this film. Once again, it set the mold that all other Frankenstein films would follow from this point forward. So if you want to watch a Frankenstein film, a really good Frankenstein film, you can't go wrong with the original Frankenstein from Universal Studios, 1931, Boris Karloff. That's it for our top 5 Frankenstein film countdown. This is just a quick countdown letting you guys know what my 5 favorites are. What do you think? Do you agree with my choices? Disagree with them? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think and what your personal 5 favorite Frankenstein films would be. So that's it. Don't forget to click subscribe and click like on this video. I would appreciate that. Until next time, this is Dr. Gangrene from the lab saying stay mad and watch out for those Frankenstein monsters. They'll get you.